as promised, in this video, we're going to talk about the Bank of International Settlement. You can call it like a banks of all the central banks, or maybe you can also call it like father of all the banks, or maybe they were trying to celebrate Father's Day yesterday. They came out with their annual report, and one of the things that they really mentioned is that the cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin can never ever replace the fiat money, and they've given like 4 to 5 reasons why is that so, why they think that cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin cannot replace fiat money. And we're going to talk about those points what they have mentioned. But before that, we need to understand what exactly this Bank of International Settlements and who are these banks. So if you Google them, if you Wikipedia them, Bank of International Settlements, and you will see all the central banks out here. So for example, you will see Bank of Algeria, Central Bank of Argentina, Reserve Bank of Australia, almost all the countries you will see here, right? Almost all the countries you will see a National Bank of Romania. You also have Reserve Bank of India here, right here in the corner, Bank of Indonesia, Bank of Greece. So in short, you have all these banks, and this is supposed to be the banks of all the central banks. And they came out with their annual report, which they have published on bis.org, which you can go ahead and download it right on the main page. If you just click on PDF full text, it will appear like you can see here, the cryptocurrencies looking beyond the hype. So what exactly they came out, and then we are also going to talk about the International Monetary Fund opinion also on cryptocurrencies, because everybody is busy giving their opinions on what cryptocurrency can do and what cryptocurrency cannot do. So definitely an exciting time to be alive in. So what are the points that they really mention? Let's go ahead and find out. So some of the points really make sense. So this is what they say, that don't bet on Bitcoin ever replacing the dollar or the other traditional fiat currencies as everyday money. So it's a bank, the father of all the banks, saying that, listen, the cryptocurrencies are not going to replace the fiat money ever. And what are the reasons? Why do they think so? Let's go ahead and find out. So first of all, they're calling it all a hype. And so what do they say? There are a range of problems. They say that there's a range of problems with trying to adopt cryptocurrencies as a widely form of money, right? So the first problem that they say is, since Bitcoin is a single transactional ledger, he says that the cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin for retail transaction around the world would quickly swell the ledger beyond the capacity of the computer servers or storage. So simply they say that the ledger will be so big that none of the computer will be able to store it. I don't think that's even going to be true. And that's one of the things that we keep talking about, that is quantum computing threat to the Bitcoin, right? That's a separate topic altogether. But of course, the Bitcoin ledger itself is not that huge that it cannot be stored. And think about those millions of transactions that happens to the Visa and the MasterCard, right? So it's quite possible. So I think that point is not really valid in my opinion. Would love to hear from you. The second point that they mention here is the volatility. They mentioned that the Bitcoin is so volatile that it goes to $19,000 and then comes back to $7,000. And in this case, it's very difficult to use it as a currency. To a certain extent, they are right. If there's going to be volatility of so much, I mean, if you could price something for $100, in the morning, and if the same thing goes for $150 in the evening, that's something that not many people will be comfortable with, will not be feasible, right? So that's one of the points. But again, I think with the time, the Bitcoin price may be a little bit more stable. The number 3 thing that they mention is the transaction fee. As you can see, just imagine if you bought a $2 coffee with Bitcoin and you had to pay $57. Now, they are referring to what happened in the month of December, I guess, and November, when the transaction fee was really high, the network was consensus. But again, if they know, or I'm not sure if they know or they don't know, but there's a lightning solutions in place, right? And let's say we are not just talking about Bitcoin. There are other cryptocurrencies as well. So for example, cryptocurrencies like Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash, where there are hardly any transaction fees. So people can use Bitcoin as a store of value, and maybe they can use other cryptocurrency as a payment mode. So that's not really the huge trouble for the cryptocurrency adoption. And the next one, they said that he noted that some people hold Bitcoin not as money but as an investment asset. Exactly, because the prices are moving up. That's also true. Most people who hold Bitcoin, they still don't want to spend. Even if there is an opportunity for them to buy something with the Bitcoin, they won't buy it unless and until it's really compulsory. The reason why, because obviously it's very obvious Bitcoin as an asset class which is growing up, the fiat money which is losing its value. So what do you want to spend first? You want to spend your fiat money first, right? So, but with the over period of time, of course, when everything starts trading and everywhere the cryptocurrency is accepted, I mean, people will not mind paying them in the cryptocurrencies. The next one they also mentioned, which is quite funny to be honest. You know, this is ridiculous, guys. They said that the trust can evaporate at any time because of the fragility of the decentralized consensus through which transactions are recorded. So in their opinion, the nature that Bitcoin is a decentralized, it's a weakness. It's not at all a weakness. That's what its strength is. If someone wants to attack any central server, for example, any bank, it's quite possible. Anyone can attack any kind of ledger, centralized ledger. But Bitcoin ledgers are public ledgers, so nobody can really attack. Nobody. I mean, you cannot just kill it. And so that's the plus point. I don't know why they say that it's not safe. Maybe they need to study about Bitcoin technology really under the depth, right? Yeah, so they also mentioned that means that cryptocurrencies can simply stop functioning. That's really not the case. Since it is decentralized, nobody can ever stop it from functioning. That's the whole point. That's the good part, right? And so these are the points that they mentioned. The first one is they mentioned is there is no computer that can actually is capable of taking that ledger, a huge ledger of Bitcoin. Like I said, it's not that huge. It's in a few GB and it can be easily stored. The next one is they mentioned that it is cannot be used as currency because it's volatile. Yes, I think with the time that will be taken care of. The third one, they mentioned the fee is very high, but again we have other cryptocurrencies and we also have Lightning Network. And the last one that they mentioned is since it is decentralized, you cannot trust. But in my opinion, because it is decentralized, you should trust. Because it is centralized, you should not trust. That's the philosophy that we go by. Come on, right? So these are the points that they mentioned. I also want to highlight what was recently said by International Monetary Fund, because International Monetary Fund is also in international organizations which is been looking into the international monetary system, right? And they had a different opinion altogether. If you remember, the Christine Lagarde, who praised cryptocurrencies, she's the IMF chief, and she actually praised cryptocurrencies and she also suggested that, you know, that it could transform the way people actually save and invest. So as you can see, two different organizations, two different opinions, both are international organizations for the bank, International Monetary Fund and Bank for International Settlement. Yeah, so quite interesting. We are living in a quite exciting time. Everybody have their own opinion. Some of their opinions are based on their own experiences and their knowledge. One thing that I do know, that the new technologies will always keep prospering. You know, today is Bitcoin, maybe tomorrow something better will come up. But we are definitely not going back to fiat money is what I think for sure. So give your opinion on what do you think about this report, and of course you can go ahead and check the report if you would like to read it, download it from the site. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.